What's up, guys? It's me, Hwoarang, and we are back again with another video. And this one's gonna be a bit different. You know, I think you guys can see by the title of the video, obviously, we have something I want to discuss today. And I think, you know, I just want a little bit of a chill, laid back video. You know, we're gonna have gameplay playing over the top. I just want to talk to you guys for a bit. You know, I feel like I don't really get to do that much. So yeah, we're just gonna sit and talk because I have some things I want to talk about, some things I want to discuss. And I just want to see, like, you know, what we have to say about this topic, because I guess, you know, we're about 2 months into the game now. Tekken 8's been around for a minute, and tier list season has begun. I've noticed, I guess we're seeing a lot of tier lists pop up over my Twitter timeline. I've been seeing quite a few, and a lot of them, I think, I've been seeing, you know, Hwoarang in the bottom 10 and so around that area. You know, it comes to certain people's tier lists, right? And also, if you're new here, by the way, hi, I'm Kwis, very prominent Tekken player, Hwoarang main. I guess some people find me synonymous with the character, I've noticed. So yeah, so I have a vested interest in Hwoarang as a character and his strength. So yeah, if you are new here, make sure you guys drop a sub. Subscribing really helps out. You know, drop a like, I'll be very much appreciated. But anyway, yeah, so I guess I've been seeing Hwoarang like around the bottom of a lot of people's tier lists, you know, and the general consensus from like a lot of the players I'm seeing now is that he just doesn't seem to be a very strong character. And I think if we had to compare him to his Tekkens, I think first and foremost, I think he is weaker than his Tekken 7 version. I think I'd have to say, I think a lot of characters are weaker than the Tekken 7 versions. But I think Hwoarang is someone that is quite noticeable for. A lot of it comes down to, for example, I think counter hits. You know, forward 1+2, that's a counter hit launch that he lost, gets a guaranteed hit into heat engage now, which is something a lot of characters have now. So it's not even something you can really say is a specific Hwoarang nerf type thing. You know, a lot of characters lost counter hit launches in exchange for guaranteed standing follow-up. But I think where Hwoarang suffers in this regard is he doesn't really have any moves that complement them very well, right? Other characters, for example, if they get like a counter hit situation like that and say they have their back to the wall, I'll take Victor, for example. Victor has a counter hit back 4, and that gives him a standing follow-up, which is normally going to be a heat engager, right? Or if he wants, he can get a wall splat instead if their back is to the wall. Hwoarang doesn't really have anything like that at all if he gets one of those situations. And some characters like Jin, for example, he lost his Magic 4 standing count hit. So what he does after Magic 4 now is he gets a heat engager. But if the Magic 4 trades, he can get a full launcher for it. If Hwoarang trades forward 1+2 with something, he might not even get his regular follow-up. You know, so I think it's genuinely a move that I just don't see the point in now, really and truly. Because a lot of times you're going to see Hwoarang go for that counter is when he gets a frame trap at +5. It's a 15 frame count hit. If they push anything, it's going to trade, and then Hwoarang loses that follow-up completely. I might just show you an example on the screen as well, so we know exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, so this is something that I think does affect Hwoarang quite a bit. Sort of a nerfed counter hit game. I think his combo damage, etc. is good, but I saw some charts recently that apparently Hwoarang's combo damage is actually average in this game, which I find quite interesting. Because when I'm playing the game and I'm doing combos, I'm like, damn, I'm doing, you know, some damage here with these combos. But apparently that is average for this game, which I think may be a problem if that kind of combo damage is average. Because I want to see what above average looks like if Hwoarang is average. But yeah, I just wanted to, and also I forgot to say this before we begin. The one comment I'm just not like, I know it's gonna happen. There's nothing I can do to stop it, but I know there's just gonna be some guys in the comments like, what do you mean Hwoarang is weak character? He can't be a weak character. When I'm playing in brawler ranks, Hwoarang absolutely destroys me. Like, I know the comments coming. There's nothing I can say about it. There's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm just hoping, you know, that it's going to be somewhat mitigated because listen, here's the thing about the people that, you know, complain about Hwoarang in my comment section, etc, etc. A lot of people are like, Hwoarang needs nerfs, and I'm just like, okay, what do you think needs nerfs? And then they have no idea what to say because they don't know the character. Haven't tried to play against the character. I've said it before, it's easier to complain than it is to learn. and I just do get kind of tired of seeing it, in all honesty. But there's nothing I can do about it. I guess, you know, the people that hate Hwoarang are very powerful. They have so much, you know, they're just better than everyone, you know, God of Destruction ranks every single one of you. There's nothing I can really say. But yeah, like, I'm trying to have like an actual open discussion about the character strength as someone who's played the character extensively for many years now and has played this new iteration of the character for quite some time. Like, I just want to like seriously sit down and look at the character strengths. If you're saying that like he cannot be weak, I lose to him all the time, like whatever. Anyway, yeah, I do feel like he is somewhat lacking in this game, and I don't know, and again, this is me coming from someone who has played Hwoarang mostly since the game came out. I think the character I've played second most other than Hwoarang is Victor. I think he's the character I played the second most. Then Jin, Azucena, and Feng are the other characters I've played quite a bit. I'll be starting to play other characters as well, right? And I think of all the characters, the two weakest that I've played are definitely Hwoarang and Victor. I think Jin is very good in this game. Feng is very good, and Azucena is like top 5. I think Azucena is top 5 just because partially how easy she is, on top of just everything she could do in this game, like borderline boss character right there. And I really do feel the power drop off when I play those other characters compared to Hwoarang and Victor. But I'll probably always perform the best with Hwoarang because that's my main. Spent the most time with the character I just gel with the most at this point. And things just come so easy to me with that character. And I guess also something to sort of say, like, the reason why this is a discussion I want to have is because obviously I have a vested interest in Hwoarang's strength as a character, right? I think, obviously, for those of you who don't know, I am a competitive player. This game is my job. It is my livelihood. I have a very important, I have a need to be able to perform well in this game, and I think I need to also be able to assess the strengths of my character and other characters and look at that as, you know, the potential method for victory when it comes to this game in a competitive manner. So I do, you know, need to be able to look at the strengths and say, is this worth it, is it not, etc, etc. And like, there are things, obviously, like, I think he's the most fun character for me to play, you know, just, you know, it'd be weird if it wasn't for me. And again, there are some good points coming from Tekken 7 to Tekken 8 with Hwoarang. I think the new mids he has from Right Flamingo are so good. You know, I'm such a big fan of giving him like the safe mids he's got, you know, wall splat mids, etc, etc. The only problem with those mids is they took away the hell sweep, you know, from Right Flamingo, so there isn't really that big power load to make you want to duck when he's in Right Flamingo unless he's in heat. But when you take away the heat in that, you know, those mids, they're good, etc, etc, but people aren't really going to be ducking, you know, because there's really no need to. You know, he has the Right Flamingo down 3, which is a little low poke, puts him at -5, you know, doesn't really do much. And then the new hell sweep, the down 4-3, leaves Hwoarang minus, you know, in your face, which is not somewhere Hwoarang ever really wants to be in this game, right? So just with that in mind, you know, yes, it's nice that he has that addition, but the mids, you're not really going to see them really get to shine until he is in heat. But then when we talk about Hwoarang in heat, I think he becomes a better character than he was in Tekken 7. You know, I think that's the best way to describe how I feel about the character. Without heat, he is worse in Tekken 7. With heat, he is better. However, I was having a conversation with a few players, and Kira as well, and he said, well, I don't think any character is worse, you know, when they get into heat, which is a very valid point, right? I think heat really changes the game for a lot of characters. I'm like, yeah, I think a lot of characters are obviously going to be better when they're in heat, and for Hwoarang, I think better than his Tekken 7 iteration. So I think really playing around heat is very important in this game, and I think the way you do that really will shape the success that a lot of different people have in this game. I think people are still getting to grips with it. You know, I still see people waste their heat. You know, they'll do a combo, heat burst, heat engage, spend it, heat dash, whatever, right? And then it's done. And then I see people like, you know, pop heat burst at the start of the round, try and do something, it's gone, and then you've lost it, right? I think there is a right and wrong way to use heat in this game. I do think some of that is also quite difficult for Hwoarang because, you know, a lot of important key moves got made heat engages for Hwoarang. And I think that is a bit, because sometimes you don't want to use your heat so early, right? You know, for example, if we take Jin, for example, his forward 2 got made a heat engager, and that's quite an important move for Jin. But the move is really insane in this game anyway. But like if you want to close the distance, they've given him a new option. He has forward forward 4 now, which is pretty much a similar move. It's slower, but does a wall splat, does everything it really needs to do. It's the same as forward forward 2, just slower really. And sort of is that okay, you want to use a forward forward 2 basically, but you have heat, but you don't want to spend your heat, use forward forward 4 instead, right? With Hwoarang, he doesn't really have that for any of these moves, which I find a bit problematic, right? You know, his Peacekeeper forward forward 4 is a heat engager, doesn't have a different move to close the distance, so it's like you have to find yourself playing in a different way in this game, right? Like I feel like if you wanna close distance now, you just have to focus on movement. Really, he doesn't have another move like forward forward 4, like his Peacekeeper to close distance. Left flamingo forward 3, another move I think is very important for Hwoarang, that being made a heat engager, which he doesn't really have, you know, a replacement for, you know, to really get the mid damage that you want from his left flamingo, right? So I think stuff like that is where I find issue with Hwoarang in this game. I think another thing that hurts Hwoarang quite a bit in this game, I think, is the buffed movement. The movement in Tekken 8 is very much buffed from where it is in Tekken 7, right? And I think you sort of notice it. I've noticed it a lot more because I play Hwoarang, right? Because Hwoarang's tracking was always something a bit of an issue in Tekken 7, right? But in Tekken 8, I think with the buff movement, you notice, you know, the tracking issues that he has a bit more. You notice, you know, just how good the movement is in this game as well, right? And I think that's something that hurts the character quite a bit, you know, because for example, I do 4-3 on +5 on hit. You know, if I want all of my good moves to follow up with like a down 3-4, like a just from Scarrick, the main mix-up, right? You know, it can be sidewalked the same way and stuff like that. So you have to change how you play around that. If you want to focus on tracking them, you have to go out of the range of frames, do something like a down back 4 to track them, which isn't a frame trap. Or you can just play it safe, go for your jabs, etc, etc. But like the big hard-hitting power stuff you normally would do in this game is made even worse by the buff movement. So all in all, like you do really notice like the negatives, I think, when it comes to Hwoarang, especially if you play him, you know, quite a bit. However, why I sort of feel as well the issue lies with Hwoarang is he's a character who traditionally has a lot of bad matchups, right? You know, a lot of the female cast typically are bad for Hwoarang, and characters like Steve, Bang, etc, etc, really bad for Hwoarang. And something that's always been an issue for Hwoarang, in my opinion, is the characters that have been bad matchups for him have typically always been very popular tournament character picks as well, right? If you go back to Tekken 7, Kunimitsu, Zafina, Feng, Steve at one point was very popular in tournament. It's all these characters that are going to be very popular tournament picks. You're going to be seeing them a lot, you know, in a single tournament run, and that's something that can really hurt playing Hwoarang in tournament. However, one thing I said about Hwoarang, I think bad matchups traditionally don't matter as much to him, simply because, you know, once he lands down 3-4, once he gets into Flamingo, etc, etc, everyone has to guess, you know, except like Alyssa and Zafina, because they can just backdash, and it's very weird. Like, yeah, everyone has to guess once we get into that situation. So if you can get into the situation that is favorable for you, you are still in, like, victory is possible. I think Tekken is a game where there's no such thing as an unwinnable matchup, right? Like, I think anyone with any character can beat anyone else with any character in this game. It's one thing I love about Tekken. I think, yes, there are bad matchups, but I think there's nothing unwinnable in Tekken when it comes to matchups. But I do think the similar issue, you know, persists in this game, right? You know, Feng, going to be very popular in tournaments, still a bad matchup for Hwoarang. I think that matchup's actually got slightly better in this game, I think as well. But Ling, Jun, Azucena, I think those three are both contenders for top 5. I think Ling might be the best character in this game. But Jun and Azucena potentially they're at least top 10. Those three could be top 5, but they're at least top 10. Those three matchups are absolutely horrendous for Hwoarang. I know for a fact Ling not so much, but Jun and Azucena will be seen in tournament quite a lot. So that is something I think is going to be an issue. I think those are, I know I just said some matchup, I know matches are like there's nothing such thing as unwinnable, but those are close to feeling like unwinnable in Tekken. Jun and Azucena very much feel like, I think Jun especially feels like an unwinnable matchup sometimes, but again, there's no such thing, but it can feel like that. And then Ling is insane because anyone who has like spoken to me during the Tekken 7 era, anyone that knows me from Tekken 7 knows, even though Ling was a bad matchup, I did not really struggle like that in Tekken 7 against the character. Like when I played Ling plays in Tekken 7, like yes, it was an annoying matchup to deal with. I struggled for like, you know, a certain period of time, but like towards the end of Tekken 7, the last 2-3 years we'll say of Tekken 7, that was not a matchup I was worried about, like at all. In this game, that matchup has become so much worse, and I want to do a whole video talking about Ling at one point because she is an insane character, and I do not know how they've let so much slip through when it comes to this character. But this match, like, there are certain things they buffed about Ling that have made the matchup near unplayable. Previously in Tekken 7, I had decent options to deal with Ling if she was going to, you know, do some shenanigans, right? Down 3-4 was always good, down back 4 was always good, and one of my main tools was Just Frame Skaraka. I think Just Frame Skaraka was the #1 tool that I used against Ling in the matchup if I felt like AOP shenanigans were about to happen. But they have buffed sidestep right AOP in this game to the point it will beat my Just Frame Skaraka, and I think that's not okay. Personally, it's a very low hitting mid. It hits grounded, it works in combos. I see no reason for her to be able to do sidestep right AOP and beat my Just Frame Skaraka. So yeah, that's another issue I think that sort of hurts Hwoarang in this game, because so many of these strong characters also have to be bad matches as well, which just piles on the difficulty when it comes to playing against certain characters in tournament. But why I think some of this might just be, you know, a bit doom and gloom unnecessary is because I think Tekken is a game right now where I think our top 10, I think definitely our top 5, top 10 are just completely another level above like the middle tier of characters, etc, etc. I think Hwoarang is around that middle tier of characters, right? I don't see an argument ever for Hwoarang being bottom 10. I don't see that. But I do think he lies around that middle, and I think those characters at the top really are noticeably better than the rest. Like your Feng, Drag, Devil Jin, Jun, Ling, Azucena, etc, etc. Those characters right now, you like playing against them or playing as those characters, I think you can feel the fact that you are a level above than the rest of the characters in the game, right? So how I feel about Hwoarang right now, I don't know if that's how other character mains are feeling about their character that is not in that top 5, top 10, maybe top 15 right now, right? And that just might be a symptom of, you know, okay, those characters are much better. I am comparing my character to those characters that are simply just a level above. There's not really much to be said about that, right? And again, I think we're still at the stage of the game where we're learning how to deal with things, we're learning how to deal with characters. There's so much stuff that, like, there's a lot in this game that is new from characters as well that, you know, we've dealt with for many years now. There's a lot that's new about them that you have to adjust to and deal with. I think Steve for me is an example of a character that, like, there's a lot to me when I'm playing against him that's new. You know, it's new feints. I'm like, okay, now I'm getting counter hit, but normally I wouldn't have to deal with that. That's stuff I just have to learn to deal with now. Even though I don't think Steve is particularly strong, I think, again, you know, it's just adjusting to new things, right? And again, for playing Hwoarang, he has new things himself. I need to adjust to those new things, incorporate them into my playstyle, and then maybe that is what is leading to the feeling of him feeling a step behind other characters in this game. Yeah, those are just kind of my thoughts, I think, on Hwoarang in this game. I haven't really done a video talking about him really and truly, so I wanted to really get something out there, I guess, because people ask my thoughts on the character in this game. So I think, you know, this is the video where I talk about how I think he is in this game, so I don't have to answer that question 10 times a stream. And again, I know at the end of the day, there's going to be the people who, regardless, they are not going to watch this video, they're just going to leave a comment like, Hwoarang is broken, I can't deal with him. How can Hwoarang main say anything? He plays Hwoarang. It's like, listen, I understand. I know it's tough for you in green ranks. I get it. I know it's hard. But please understand that what you're losing to in green ranks is not what I'm discussing here. Right? That stuff, that's a different, you're playing a different game to the game I'm playing. You know, in that game, Hwoarang and Victor and I don't know, Steve, etc. So these are the top 5, top 10 characters in the game, right? I'm discussing something different. You know, if that's what you're struggling with, you know, sure, more power to you. Maybe go try and learn a matchup. But you know, I'm not your therapist, so I'm not here to hear your grievances with my character. Thank you. Yeah, that's gonna be it from me on this video. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to watch this video. Really do appreciate that. Please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. That launch still. Actually, was Sevi was
Yo,
shit,
you're
I said
sick
Sevi.
to my
Was Shaheen's
stomach,
on
but if
stage?
it's not
Why have I turned around there? I think all heat engages do that. I think all heat engages do that. If they hit in the back, they already turn you around. But that's crazy because I get the full wall splat there as well. That low has some serious range. Oh my god, Sephi. What? I threw as well! Oh my god, we threw it the same. Well, he threw faster. I can't believe I didn't get my proper combo there. Off the wall splat. His back was touching the wall. Yeah. I swear down, the way Sephi plays in this game, the trade game, I think the Prime Gaming sub, you didn't get one of those. It's dropping on me. Really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. He did the power crush again. Bro, the way Sephi plays in this game is so wild, you know. He didn't always used to be like this, man. Wow, I thought I got hit. Where was my 3? Where was my 3? Hey. I don't even know why it dropped. That's 2 robberies in back-to-back rounds against Sephi. I didn't need to do that. Okay. Oh, I wasn't counting it. But he gets so like gung-ho. Oh, you can't pick up with that, can you? Oh, you should be able to. Oi, sir. Why? I pressed the button. Why was I just stuck there in Flamingo? That's a mid. I assumed that was a high for the longest time. That also gave him heat back. That's also another thing I find weird in this game. The characters that arbitrarily can and cannot regain heat back. Like, it seems like there's no rhyme or reason between those characters as well that can get heat back and can't. Like, off the top of my head, Shaheen, Leroy, Ling, King, Victor, Azucena. Okay. And like, it's weird because like the requirements to get heat back, like for some it's like incredibly easy, and like, you know, for what the character is, like it plays perfectly into what they need to do, and for some it's like, no. Yeah, you just have to, you know, do the loop-de-loop and pull, and then your shoes. Dude, Tubby, thank you for the 42 months of tier 1 switch to the channel. Really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Brew great content on T8. Keep up the good work. D.
Thank you, thank you. Ah! It's sidestep 3, but no sidestep. Only English in the chat, please. Thank you. Bro, the way I was convinced that was a high, you know. Tracking. Bro, I said no English in the chat. Did this guy just say no to me after I said only English in the chat? Oh, I was late on my down forward 4. I had the frame trap there. I was literally just late. This guy actually just saying no.